video, I'm going to be showing you a quick and easy way of how to make a pattern for a Moreland valance. The first thing that you're going to need to do when you're going to be making a Moreland pattern is to find how wide you're going to be making the fabric. This fabric is a bit wide, so what I went ahead and do before I started the video was to make a mark along here, which makes the material to be out at 60 inches wide. So for those of you who are working with a 60-inch wide fabric, this pattern that I'm going to be making is going to be very, very easy and can easily fit into what you already have instead of having to go and buy a wider fabric. Now, I went ahead and I did the mark coming down here. I don't know if it is showing in the video, but there's a mark there. So what I'm going to be doing is to find how long I'm going to be making this Moreland valance. Now, this pattern that I'm going to be doing is a very standard measurement that is used for Moreland valance. So you guys would have to know how to adjust it in terms of how wide your window is. The first thing that you're going to do is to take your tape measure and you're going to be measuring down this side 36 inches. Now I am going to be taking I'm using a chart because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm using a chart and I'm just going to be measuring 36 inches. And I'm going to find that going out a little bit. So guys, over on this side, you're basically going to be having your length. So this is how long the valance is going to be. Now, what you need to determine now is your depth of how your fall is going to be. So over on the other side, over on this side, what I'm going to be doing is to get 20-inch mark out. So I'm going to mark out 20 inches. So after you found the 20-inch, what you're going to be doing is to just go ahead and mark that out so you know exactly how far down you're going to be coming on this side. Usually for a standard pattern, you would come out 27 inches. Now guys, I want to have a 16-inch fall, and that is why I went 20-inch over on that side, because at the end of it I would end up with a 16-inch fall, judging that the fabric over on this side is 36 inches. From here I'm going to be using a standard measurement, which is 26-inch finish. So you need your inch allowance. You take that out to 27 inches at the bottom. What I'm going to do now, guys, is to transfer the markings on the top of it. So I'm just going to go on the top here and I'm going to mark out my 27 inches, and that should leave me with 33 inch over on this side, because remember guys, we're working with 60-inch wide fabric. So over here where you have your 20-inch mark, what you're going to be doing is to transfer that, and you're going to need 20 by 33 going until you reach to this point. So what I'm going to do is to take my tape measure, mark 20, get 20, and I'm getting that 20 until I get down to a 33 mark. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. So from from here on this side, you're going to have a little rectangle which is going to be 20 by 33 inch. Then what I'm going to be doing from here where I finished the 33 inch mark, I'm just going to be taking this, putting it down, and just to connect, just so I know exactly what I am doing. Now guys, this is what your pattern should look like so far. And this is, again, as I said before, I'm going to be working with it 60 wide. So from here to here is 60 inches wide. From the 60 inch mark coming down, that's 20 inches. So right here, I put a little mark. I had put in a little mark right there. And that is where the 33 inches is. So what I'm going to do is to put in the marking so you guys can see the measurement. Here it would be 60 inches wide. You see, I made sure to do that. After you find your 60 inches, you're going down 20 inches. You can see as I did there. And then you're going across here 33 inches. Now guys, the 16 inch mark here, that is for those of you who want to have a 16 inch fall. I know that some of you might not like that depth and you might probably want it to be a little deeper. In that case, what you would do is get a longer, that is the only thing that you would actually change. You, instead of getting 36 inches down here, what you would do is lengthen it so you have it a little bit longer to suit whatever it is that you are doing. So here you would have your 27. Now this 27 inch is just a standard measurement as for persons who are working with a 60 inch. So there are certain things on this that is pretty standard. So let's recap a little bit. You need your fabric to be 60 wide, as you can see I have there. You go down 20 inches, as you can see I go there, 33 inches, and at that little point I actually I put a little X there, and that is where I'm going to be beginning my little curve for the little turning. Then you're gonna have your fall, whatever your fall is. Your fall would be determined on how long you make here. So if you have yours going like 40 or 41 inches down, your fall is going to be deeper over here. But you're gonna be doing this at 27, and that is so you can get a 26 inch wide finish. And by the way, it won't be showing at the edge here, it will just be showing from here going across to there, because here you're going to be curving it to meet back to about 3 inches away from the point. Now I went ahead and I turned around the pattern so that you guys can see the next step to this, because this is actually where you would actually have all of the little curve and everything coming in. So on the side of the fabric that has the 36 inches, as you can see there, 36 inches, what you're going to be doing is to take whatever it is that you're using for measuring, whether you're using one of these or a measuring tape. You're going to be measuring off 3.5 inches. And you're just going to be making a mark there, and that is from the edge of the fabric. You're just going to be making 3.5 inch mark. Now the reason why you're going to be doing 3.5, you're supposed to have 3 inches really, or depending on how much you want it to be, but I'm going to be using 3.5 because I need a ½ inch allowance. And you're going to be doing the same thing going upwards. So you also need 3.5, and you're just going to mark that. And then you're going to be connecting the 2 little markings that was done. So you connect the 3.5, and that is it. Now guys, once that is done, the next thing that you're going to be doing is to connect from this little 3.5 mark here. Normally I like to measure out another inch. I don't like to carry it exactly to the point. Some people, they do measure it and carry it exactly to the point. I just don't like to. You lose fabric when you do that. So my advice to you would be to measure out just 1 inch. You don't need more than 1 inch. So from the 3.5 inch mark, you're just gonna measure 1 inch out on the same line, and then you're going to be connecting your little mark that was made all the way up here to signal where you are going to start. So you remember I showed you the little X where I'm going to be starting to make the little curve from. So that's what you're going to be doing, and you're going to be literally connecting that to the little 1 inch mark that we just marked off. So let me go ahead and do that. And that's basically it. This is basically how the pattern is actually cut. What you would need to do, however, is to kind of curve it a little bit more. Some people, they leave it just the same. So let's have a look at what we have so far. Now, as I said, from here to here, 3.5. From here to here, 3.5, and you take it down. So you basically just join the pieces there. From here to here, I just gave it a little 1 inch because I don't like when I take it exactly there. I actually end up losing fabric and it doesn't give me much of a space to work with. So I normally put a little 1 inch there, and then from here to here, I connect the pieces. And as it relates to this section here, that is pretty much what is done. However, the next part of it would be to carve this side of it. Now, there is a method that you can use, and basically what you would do is to find the half of here. So this is 33 inches, as you guys can see there. So you'd find the half of it. However, usually when I'm doing this, what I normally do is just to find 15 inches. I make the little 15 inch mark, and wherever the little 15 inch stops, and then I take the 18 inch, and what I do with it is, this is how I would make the curve going up. Now, as it relates to how far down you would stop, I'm gonna be showing you guys what you're gonna be doing. Okay, now as I said, I normally just find 15 inches. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna find 15 inch from the little X here. The little, let me draw it over. So from the little X here, I'm gonna find 15 inches. I'll mark 15 inches. So now that I've found that, as it relates to what is going to happen for the 20 inch part of it, what I normally do is to find the half of the 20 inch, which would be 10 inches. And I would actually do a curve. The only difference with that curve, with the curve over on that side and the curve for this side, is that this one is actually going to be like an actual curve. So what I would normally do is to get a string and curve it up. But if you can curve without using a string or using something, what you can do is just to take your hand or to take whatever it is that you're using. For me, I'm just going to use the chart, and I'm going to try and curve it up a bit. It might not be that straight. However, this is basically it. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I curved it. Now this was where the 10 inch mark was. I ended up having to do it at 6 inches because when I was doing it the last time I did this, I was putting it onto a board, and the board was like 4 inches wide, so I had to calculate the 4 inches wide there. So that was I had dropped it there. So for this one, I'm going to try and see if I can put on some of these for you guys, so you guys can actually see what it would look like. So this is what your pattern, let me ease out a bit, this is what your pattern would look like. So you would be cutting this, that would be what you would be cutting going up there.
right along here, you need to have the edges here to be jagged, and it would be jagged to form up here. However, there is a difference when you're going to be doing the pattern. If you're going to be using these little things here, whether you're going to be doing them in plastic or you're going to be doing them in metal, if you're going to be doing that, you're going to need to have 3 inches of your fabric going all the way out here. You're going to have 10-inch right there, and you make a little 10-inch mark. Or if you don't want it to be out so far, you go a little bit smaller. So this is your pattern so far. So what I'm going to do is to show you guys how to get that little part going at the top now.
Okay guys, in order to get the little jagged edges at the top, what you would need to do is to now measure out 3 inches. So you're going to be measuring out 3 inches. So I'm making my 3-inch mark. Okay guys, so after you get the 3 inches mark going across here, what you're going to be doing is from this edge right here. So you're going to measure out 10-inch, and you're just going to be stopping right there. And then you're going to make your 3-inch mark.
Okay guys, so this is what the top of it would look like. Wait, let me zoom out. So you would have your little 3-inch running along here. Alright, let me tell you guys something. Now right here, what you're gonna do for right here is right where you have, let me zoom in a bit. Right where you have this, now from here to here is 10 inches. Right where you have this little mark, here to here is 3 inches. So you're gonna measure from here to here 3 inches, which you see I put a little mark right there. And what you're gonna do is to take this, let me zoom out back. You're gonna take this and you're gonna give it a little mark right there, and you're just gonna be joining that right there. Now guys, this is what your pattern would basically look like. Now you have your 60-inch mark up there to signal how wide you want the fabric to go. 20 inches mark, come down. 33 inches. You come down here, just 16-inch drop. 27 inches going across there.
Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark out for the other part of this particular valance. Now you would need a square that is 24 by 24 inches wide, which is what I went ahead and marked out here. You guys can see the markings. Now I made a square, as I said before, 24 by 24 inch wide. Now this is going to be the drop for the small size. So you see on the Moreland valance you have a side that has this little drop. So it's pretty much like a tail that you're gonna be making. Now guys, I made sure to lay everything on the same fabric and cut at the same time. Now I'm working on the wrong side of the fabric, obviously. So when you turn around the fabric, you know this side would end up falling on the other side. So what you're gonna do, if you have your fabric, your long side of the pattern on this side, you're going to put your long side onto this 24 by 24 inch square on the opposite side. So over on this side is going to remain at your 24 inches. What you're gonna do over on this side, which is the opposite side, you're going to find 3.5 inches. You're going to mark that, and at the bottom you're gonna do the same thing. Let me put it up further. 3.5 inches there. At the bottom you find 3.5 inches as well. You mark that off, and just as you did on the big pattern, you're going to be joining those together. And then, as I did before, when I did a little 1 inch mark, I'm going to put back my 1 inch mark right there. And then over here, I'm going to be marking. So I'm just going to be minusing 10 inches. So let me go from the bottom of it. I'm going to be marking, putting a mark where the 10 inch would be. And then I'm just going to connect that little mark there to the 1 inch mark that I created at the bottom. So I'm going to join that. So let me mark 3.5 inch here.
So guys, this is what it looks like. So you see it's 24 by 24. So I just did a mark so you guys can see 24 inches. And then from here to here is 10 inches. And I just put it to the point, the little 1 inch, just like I did over on that little edge there. So it's 3.5. It's going that way, 3.5 that way. Now, the only thing that you'd have left to do is to make a circle for the little rose that you're gonna be creating. So guys, I just got a round dish and I just marked all the way around it. So one final look at how your pieces are supposed to be. So you have the big part, you have the round circle for the rose, and you have the side part which is actually a tail. So that's what your pattern would look like. So the only thing you have left to do is to cut them out and then get the part for them to line the back of it. So this is what your pieces are supposed to be looking like. You can see the transformation of the 36-inch sides, and there you have your curve going up. And remember guys, that little edge that is there, it's not gonna be there. After you're gonna take this and kind of put it over on that, and then you'll be able to get the jagged edges from doing that. But this is basically it. You have your round circle which you're going to use to make the rose, and this is what you're going to be using to get the little tail at the other side. But this is what your pieces are going to look like. So what I'm going to be doing now is to literally just go ahead and cut out what I'm going to be using to line them, and all you're going to be doing is to place this, just to place them down over on your fabric. Now when you're gonna be doing that, you're gonna be turning over your fabrics like on the right side, because remember guys, so you turn it over like so. So let's say you're gonna be placing the fabric down, you turn your pattern on the right side and you turn your lining fabric on the wrong side, and you are gonna just place it over there and cut around, and as a result you'll end up with the two pieces. So when you're ready to sew, and you're going to be doing the same, you're not going to be doing that for that, because this is going to turn up and be a row, so that is going to be that. So this and this is what you're going to be cutting the pieces for. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was able to help you guys in understanding how to cut for a Moreland pattern a little bit better. I've never really done a pattern for it. I normally just freehand everything, and is the only thing I've normally ever done was just to do like the measurements for that, and I normally cut it a lot faster and thing. But I normally do the same thing, but usually guys I put this on board, and when I'm putting it on the board I don't take off the little piece that I the 3 inches that I took off there. I don't take it off, but because I'm trying to see if I can use the rings to show you guys, I took off the little piece there, because I want to be able to actually show you guys how it would look when you use the rings. I want to do that style, and then probably another day I do the one for the boards for you guys. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys again on another video. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to check out all of the other videos that I have, and I have videos showing how to do swag patterns and a whole bunch of other ones, so check those videos out. And also there's gonna be a link in the description box to my other channel, so be sure to go and check that out as well. Anyways guys, I'll see you on the next video, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys how to actually sew for the Moreland valance. Bye guys.